Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria. If you are new, we are doing 31 days of Halloween. Today we are going to be doing Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas. This was one of the most requested that I got last time I did 31 days, and I don't know why I didn't do it, but we're doing it this time. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so she doesn't have eyebrows, so first things first, gotta get rid of them. As always, I will be using Spirit Gum to block out my eyebrows, making sure I'm coating all the hairs, giving it like 10 seconds to get tacky. Pressing them down with my brush. I'll add one more light layer of Spirit Gum just to make sure they are sealed down. Now I'm going to set them with the Mehron setting powder. If you're ever wondering which brand to get for like face paints or like special effects makeup, you really just can't go wrong with Mehron. So I'm taking some on Powder Puff. The Spirit Gum dries down pretty dry, so this isn't absolutely necessary, just an extra step of precaution. So before I start with my base, I'm going to prime. As always, the Charlotte Tilbury Setting Spray and the Milk Makeup Pore Eclipse Mattifying Primer in my T-zone. And a little under my eyes as normal for the Milk Primer. Okay, I want like a very light blue, kind of almost blue-gray. So I'm gonna be playing around. I have my Mehron Paradise palette. As you can see, it's been getting some work in. I'm going to use this blue here, some of the white, and perhaps a little bit of this gray up here. I'm going to start with taking my wet brush into the blue and just lightly into the gray. I'm going to start with the eyebrows. So you can see it's going on pretty sheer because my brush is pretty wet. Okay, and I'm working in sections. So starting with like my eyebrows and forehead, I'm gonna take my sponge, just start to blend out any streaks. And I'm gonna build this up, so don't worry about it not being full coverage right now. Start to bring it down. I'm slowly starting to build it up as I apply it. Now I'm going to take a little bit on my sponge before I start blending out those streaks, just because I don't want it to lift too much product. I'm adding product onto the sponge, and my sponge is like slightly damp. I washed it, I want to say like about an hour ago. And I'm going to start going in with that white after I get this blue and gray base on. Okay, so now we're going to add white and kind of brighten up the face more. For that, I'm going to use this white foundation from Sunset Makeup. I'm waiting on my Mehron cream white makeup, otherwise I probably would use that, but this will work. So I'm just gonna take a little bit on my hand, and I'm just gonna apply it with like the end of my brush. And I'm kind of just adding it like where I normally would to like highlight or like contour or to like add concealer. I'm taking a clean sponge. So now we're going to brighten this up with some white makeup. And instead of using the white water activated paints, I actually just got these in the mail. They're also Mehron. This is the Cream Blend Stick and then the Clown White makeup. I'm going to try the stick. I've never tried these before, so hopefully it works out well. It seems very, very blendable and soft, which is good. So I'm just gonna apply this like towards these, like in the center of my face. Take some on the brush for my nose. Probably should have tested out a small section first, but we're just going in. Okay. I'm actually gonna take some on my sponge, so like as I blend it out, it's also doing the same thing I did with the perimeter and kind of making sure it's not lifting anything. And that's blending out so beautifully. It is not the easiest to blend out the AQ Paradise makeup on top of the Paradise AQ makeup. So to have this cream makeup is so much more convenient. And it's not lifting that blue-gray base either, which is nice. I'm gonna add some more on my sponge. Just going in with a little bit more. I don't want to be too blue because I feel like she's not like super blue. I think that's where I messed up when I did the Corpse Bride makeup last time I did 31 Days of Halloween. I think I made her like too blue when she was in fact a little bit more gray, a little bit more muted. I wish I had had this cream makeup when I did some of my other looks that I've already done. It would have made things so much easier. Like for the Ursula makeup, it does take some a lot longer to blend the AQ Paradise makeup again on top of Paradise HQ makeup. Now I just want a little bit more coverage on my eyebrows, so I'm just gonna take it directly. I'm just pressing because I really want to get in between those eyebrow hairs. Now I don't want the sponge to soak up a lot of that product, so I'm gonna go in with the brush. That same brush that I used to apply the blue base. Just kind of whatever was left on that on that brush from applying that base, which kind of helps that white blend in also. Okay, now we're gonna set it, and again using the Mehron setting powder. So taking some in the lid, I'm gonna set my under eyes first, making sure I'm blending out any creases beforehand. Don't want to set those creases. I'm gonna do one eye at a time. Look up. Now to set the rest of my face, I'm gonna use a big fluffy brush and a light hand. I don't want to move any of the makeup around or lift it. Okay, now we're gonna contour a little bit and we're gonna use a blue eyeshadow. Okay, so I'm gonna use the shade Spellbound. This is the Blends palette from Blend Bunny Cosmetics. It has been a go-to for the 31 Days of Halloween. It's such a versatile palette and the formulas are amazing. So I'm gonna start with a fluffy eyeshadow brush. It is a very round face, so we wanna keep it very round. Don't wanna contour too much. I'm gonna start lower on my cheek. I'm just blending that out slowly to get a nice even blend. I'm taking some on a fluffier brush, it's a small contour brush. I'm just gonna bring it a little bit higher and blend upwards from where I started contouring. Kind of almost taking it as if it was a blush, but with a much smaller amount so it's not as harsh as like the contour. I'm gonna take some under here as well, and then my jawline. I'm gonna take some all across my hairline. Normally I'd only kind of really do my temples, but I want it to be even across. And I'm going much lighter on the forehead. I don't want a lot on the forehead. Okay, now we're also gonna contour the nose. She is a Tim Burton character, so it's gonna be very slim and tiny. Same blue eyeshadow, just on a much smaller brush. Her nose is very triangular, so that's how we're going to kind of try to shape my nose, bringing the nostrils up and make them look thinner or skinnier. And I'm going to start right around like the eyebrow, the beginning of my eyebrow, and we're going to bring it down onto the bridge of my nose. I'm going to bring this all the way down to those like nostril shadows. And we want the tip to be pretty high up, so I'm just shading all of this in. And we're going to kind of create a little tip of the nose. Going across here. Bringing more into the nostrils, just like I want it to be much darker. Now using that brush that I started to contour with, I've kind of just wiped it off and I'm just using the brush to just blend everything out. Grabbed a little bit more shadow for this side. I'm just fading it down towards like my cheek. I'm gonna take a little bit of black eyeshadow from the Blends palette and just kind of darken out my nostrils, the areas around my nostrils. Taking some of that Mehron setting powder on the sides of my nose. I'm going to take some on the tip of my nose as well. I'm going to kind of go across like that. Realized I want the tip to be a little bit more triangular, not so round. Like that. And then just a little bit down the bridge of my nose. Putting back in with a little bit of that eyeshadow. Now I'm just blending it out a little bit more up here. Okay, now we'll start doing the eyes. Okay, so I think I want to do like a halo spotlight eye for her. So we're gonna start first by priming. I'm going to use the Milk Hydro Grip Eye Primer. I'm just tapping that all over my lid. I'm gonna start by taking that same Spellbound shadow we used to contour, and I'm gonna take it pretty in and a little bit out. So normally I would do like the halo starting right on my outer corner, but I want it to go just a little bit further out because I want that spotlight to be pretty much my whole lid, if that makes sense. I'm taking it just slightly past my outer corner and just a little bit on to my inner corner. I'm taking it up. I'm gonna take it right underneath my natural brow, and I'm just tapping, not really swiping. And I'm gonna take this right on my inner corner and up to meet that. Blending it slightly onto my actual brow. I'm gonna use some of the white eyeshadow in the Blends palette. It's the shade Cream and Sugar. And I'm just kind of wiping off my brush, same brush on paper towel, and take some of that Cream and Sugar, and I'm gonna just tap that along the perimeter of that blue. Just to get a really blended out look. Going back in with Spellbound, just kind of re-deepening things up a little bit. And I'm gonna deepen up that like socket area, tapping into a little bit of the black eyeshadow in this palette, which is the shade Nevermore. A much smaller brush to be a little bit more precise. Keeping it very rounded. And using my fluffier brush to just blend everything together. So I'm going to take a smaller brush and some micellar water, and I want to cut it right about here. I don't want to go too far up, but I do want it to be very visible. Cleaning it down pretty much all the way to my lash line. Now I'm going to take my primer again and re-prime that area. And I want a white shimmer, so I'm gonna take this one from the ColourPop Aurora Stroke palette. It's the shade Head North, which is like a vanilla white. I'm taking that on the center where I cut the middle part out. And I'm just putting that all over where I pretty much took that micellar water. Blending it onto that blue. I'm gonna go back in with that blue, but I just kind of want to blend it onto it first. Actually, instead of that same Spellbound blue, I'm gonna take this blue from the Aurora palette, which is a beautiful navy. It is the shade Orca. Take that right on the outer corner and the inner corner. Don't want to go too far in though, mostly focusing on those edges. Just bringing it lightly onto that shimmer just to get like a really nice gradient blend. Going back in a little more with that black Nevermore shade just right on the corners. A little bit more of Spellbound and Cream and Sugar. I'm really just trying to make this section look as round as possible without drawing an actual circle. So for the under eyes, we are using white liner to make our eyes look bigger. But first I'm going to outline the lower part of my eye. And I'm gonna use that Spellbound shade. So I want it to be right around here, around my outer corner. And I'm pretty much gonna take it along my natural creasing of my lower lid, all the way into that inner corner. And actually I decided that I want to leave like this part open. So I'm gonna take a little bit of that white cream blend, stick on a sponge, making sure I'm pinching it. And I'm just gonna dab right here where I want that part open. Taking a little bit of setting powder just to set that before I continue. Right now, just tapering this, just like kind of feathering it out into that open area. Okay, so now I'm gonna fill that in. It's pretty much already white, but I'm gonna make it even whiter with this Pastel Dream Auto Eyeliner from LA Girl. Just filling that all in and into my waterline. And I think I want to add a little bit of glitter on the inner corner. So I'm gonna take this one from the Aurora palette. It is the shade So Lit. And it's kind of like a pressed glitter, kind of like gel-like almost. I'm just gonna press that right here. Kind of in that empty space where I kind of cleaned it up. I'm just connecting that inner corner and that lower line with some of this glitter. I'm gonna define that line with a black liner. So I'm just gonna follow that along. And this is the NYX Epic Ink Liner. I love this liner, it honestly never fails me. And I'm gonna add a black liner to the top. I don't think I'm gonna wing it out necessarily, but I'm gonna meet this line here. It'll also give a nice base for my lashes once I put them on. Okay, and now I'm gonna take this gray blue shade from the Aurora palette. It is the shade Stormy Much. And I'm just gonna use that to shade underneath the lower eye line. And I'm shading quite a bit. It's like, it seems kind of subtle, but it's kind of has like a lot of like under eye lines, kind of like almost like eye bags almost. So creating like that tired look almost. Some like darker circles under her eyes. My girl is stressed, you know, she's tired. She's trying to stop Jack from taking a holiday that isn't his. I honestly love her character. She's so funny. My favorite part is when she's trying to feed the soup to Dr. Finkelstein and she like throws the spoon. She's like, I'm not hungry. Like, oops. And then she pretends to taste it and she's like, scrumptious. I always say that it's like become a part of my daily life when I'm like eating food or something. Just going back over this line. And I'm gonna go back over this with a little bit, just whatever's left over white on my sponge, just so the shading looks a little bit more like natural, more blended out. And of course, if we're going in with that cream makeup, we also need to go in with setting powder. Okay, so now we're gonna start her stitches. So I'm gonna use the black in the Maron palette and a liner brush. Definitely just use like an eyeliner or anything you have really. So it starts not in the middle of her forehead, but a little bit over, and then it kind of goes like through, not through her, kind of through her eye. So I'll stop it like right here, and then we'll continue it on here, and then through her mouth. Okay, so it stops like down her cheek, past her mouth. So like right here, we'll do it. Gotta hold my breath here. I guess it does start in the middle of her forehead. Let's see, just past the middle of her forehead, so like right here. I think that's too out. I meant to go more towards the eye. So let me just take some of this white. Gonna cover that right here. Buff that out. So we're gonna go right to my the end of my eyebrow. That's what I'm shooting for. Gonna darken that up a bit. Okay, I made it a little thicker than I would have wanted, so I'm just kind of cleaning it up with water and a brush. I'm gonna fill that back in. The nice thing about these paints, just takes water. A little bit of that blue and gray, just to fill that back in. A little bit of that white. I'll try to be more careful with the next lines, just so I don't have to clean them up every time. But I wanted to show this because it can be fixed, you know? A little bit of setting powder. And then I'll just go back one more time with the black and I should be good. But I think I'm happy with this. It's a little thick up here, but it's fine. I'm wearing the wig and still gotta put the stitches on and everything. Okay, so we're not gonna really continue it like it would with hers. But I'm just gonna start like right here, right under her eye. Just right there. Now we're gonna do the mouth, and hers does go up a little bit. Doesn't quite touch that other stitch. And this one. Okay, so now we're gonna add some shading. Okay, I'm gonna go in with the Spellbound 2 shade. Of course, it's our contour shading shade. And I'm just gonna take this all along the lines, both on the top and bottom. And shading makes such a big difference, as you can see. And with my fluffier brush, just kind of making sure it's nice and blended, kind of fade it out so it's not such a harsh line. Got a little shading under my lips as well, just my lower lip. And I'm gonna go back over all those black lines since I kind of faded them a little bit with that eyeshadow. Okay, so now we're gonna start these stitches, and I'm gonna take some of the white Paradise makeup. So they look more white on her face and like a little bit more black on her neck, so we're gonna go with white for the face. And I'm gonna look at reference photos to see like where she has them. Okay, so it looks like she has one here. I don't want them to be too thick. I think that's a pretty good thickness. And she has one like here. And then she has some that cross. So, like that. I'm just kind of getting those on there. I'm gonna go back in and like add more detail and more white. Do a little bit of shading. We'll add the holes that they're going into. She kind of goes this direction. And another one going down. I can't really see past this one, but we're just gonna kind of assume to our own interpretation. And I'll add one just right here. Small one, and I'm kind of smearing that black line through the white, so it's kind of actually even adding some shading as I'm doing it. They're not stark white, which is fine. And then we got another cross. Speaking of Nightmare Before Christmas, I'm going to Oogie Boogie Bash and I'm so excited. This is my first time going to Oogie Boogie Bash. I went to like the Mickey's Halloween party that they used to have at Disneyland, and they stopped that and then they started doing Oogie Boogie, and I have not been able to get tickets until this year. I don't know if you guys heard anything about the queue to get tickets for Oogie Boogie. It was a nightmare before Christmas, and no, it was so awful. They like pushed the ticket sales to like the following week or 2 weeks after the original release date because it was just so many people trying to get tickets. So I had to wait, and I waited for like, I don't know, 7 hours online just waiting in the queue. And I was so scared we weren't gonna get tickets, but we did. And we're gonna dress up. It's gonna be so much fun. This video will probably be released after I go, so I'll just tell you what my costumes are. My husband and I are gonna go as Sylvia and Goofy from the Extremely Goofy movie. I'm so excited. I think that's such a fun couple's costume. And my dad and his girlfriend are gonna be Boo and Mike Wazowski. And I think my sister may be Beret Girl to kind of fit in with the goofy part of us. So that'll be fun. Okay, so she's got one here. Okay, and then she's got two that kind of meet in like a V shape. I guess we're putting it there. She's got another X. I'm gonna have room. And then one right in the corner of the mouth. Now one more side. We're gonna do the X that she has here. Got a small one and then a longer one. Okay, now we're gonna take this tiny little round brush. I've kind of been using it for various things, but we're gonna take a little bit of black eyeshadow and we're gonna start adding those little holes that the stitches are going through. And I want them to be little half circles going inward towards the stitch. So like that. I might need a smaller brush actually. I don't want them to look too big. Yeah, I'm gonna go for a smaller brush. So I have this one. It's kind of like the same size, but more, it's like flat and square. And I think that'll help me be a little bit more precise. Okay, so kind of drawing a little half circle. Kind of want it hugging that white. All right, change of plans. I'm gonna use a different brush. And I'm gonna use the paint instead. I feel like the eyeshadow is just a little too much. So I'm gonna take the paint, just go back over that shadow. I just feel like I'm gonna be a little bit more precise with the black paint. Okay, this is what I should have been using all along. It's a liner brush. Now we're going to take some of the black eyeshadow and just kind of dab it along the black little dots or little half circles, just to kind of give them a little more dimension. And I'm not really swiping or anything, I'm just barely tapping along. Now we're going to add some black to the white, kind of like little shadows almost, outlines to the white part, so they look a little bit more three-dimensional. Here you kind of gotta decide which one you want on top. I'll go with this one here, and then we'll add black underneath this one. This one will go on top, this one bottom. You can switch up which side the black's on top, and then this one will be here. The black kind of gives it an illusion for which way they're kind of like curving, if that makes sense. So if I put the black on this side, oh, I guess I'm putting the black on this side. And now it makes the white look like it's curving like that. If I put the black on this side, it would look like that's curving like that. So then you can kind of see if you want to add black lines on both. This one, I'll add black line on both. Okay, I think that's good. Now before I move on, I'm going to just add a little bit more white, just kind of retouch up the white. This is totally optional. I'm just being kind of picky at this point. I'm gonna use, this is actually the Nightmare Before Christmas eyeliner from ColourPop when they came out with their collection. It's the white eyeliner. I think this is Sally's or Jack's, the Pumpkin King liner. So I'm just going to use that to kind of add more white to the white areas. Just some of the white areas, not all of them. All right, we're still going to do all of, because I don't have like the costume, so we are going to do some body painting. Still got a lot to do. All right, so I'm going to do the lips now. Okay, I'm going to line my lips with this black lipstick from Melt. It is the shade Shade, and I'm going to take it on a brush just to be a little bit more precise. Okay, so before I add the red pigment, this is the red pigment color fix from Danessa Myricks. I've been loving this, but it can be a little drying on the lips, so I'm gonna add a little bit of like a gloss or something, like a lip balm before. Doesn't really matter what is because these are so pigmented, so I'm just gonna take this from Tarte. It's the Maracuja lip oil or lip juicy lip, just right in the center. Now I'm gonna take the Danessa Myricks. I think I'm just gonna take it right directly on with a brush. Now I want more red. I did put a lot of black, so I'm gonna take that red further down and up. And I did add a lot of black, probably a little bit too much. So I'm going to take this red lipstick from Too Faced. It is the Cinnamon Bear lipstick. And I'm going to take this onto that black, wiping off the applicator in between. Then the brush that I was using for that pigment to help blend that black into that red. Now to brighten it up again with a pigment right in the center. Honestly, this turned out to be a pretty dark red because of all the black that I added, but I'm not mad about it. I think it's actually quite pretty. Just taking my black liquid liner to kind of touch up any of the black outline that I need to. Okay, now I'm gonna start on the body. I wanted to add lashes, but I'm gonna wait till the end, I think, to do that. Okay, so first things first is the neck. I'm just gonna use like a big paintbrush to do the outline, and we are gonna use that black paint, which is a very, very long neck, but I'm gonna take it right under here, down. I'm gonna make the line first, actually. So I'm also defining my jaw, and I want the neck just to go down a little bit further because she's a very, very long neck. I don't want to make it too long just because I feel like with my body shape and my like contours it would just not look really correct. So I think up to my collarbone is where we'll make the neck. And it's just very round contour here, right here. Because we're going to draw her dress. And now I'm going to fill that in with that paintbrush that I first started with. And now I'm actually going to start to kind of outline the dress on this side. So I'm going to take a wipey and see where I want it to go. So I'm going to do it here. Now defining that here, we're going to have her dress right where this little like corner is right here. So right here. Actually start her dress right here. Okay, down coloring this end. Now the other side. To this side a little less angular and do it more round. I know it kind of looks the same. Let's see, do like that. And just to get an idea, I'm gonna draw the neckline now. And this is where it starts here. And it's a pretty deep V-neck. It's not like a perfect shape, so I'm kind of squiggling it out a bit. So you can kind of see, I'm gonna fill this in now. And I'm gonna go all along my jaw, cleaning my chin here. Just makes it a little bit more defined. So now I'll do like her skin and then I'll work on the dress. I'm gonna use that brush that I used for my face. So I'm gonna take the light blue and the gray to start. Mostly just getting like the main part covered, and then I'll go in with a smaller brush along the edges. Now I'm just getting those edges. Taking some of that white cream stick on my sponge, and I'm just gonna go over this section. I really salute the people that do full-on body painting with just a mirror. It's not easy. So I'm gonna set this because it is that cream. I'll just redefine that black, just darken it up because I got a little of that setting powder on it. Seeing the silhouette and like seeing where my actual shoulders are makes me feel so like big. I know like it's just how an actual human is, not like a Tim Burton character, but it's such a big difference. Now I want to do these stitches on. Actually, first let's kind of like add some more dimension because right now it's looking a little flat. So I'm gonna take some of that Spellbound shade, that dark blue, and we're just gonna start to kind of add some life back into the neck. She does have a collarbone, so we're gonna kind of emphasize that. Just kind of being rough with it, not being too precise, kind of just roughly going over it with that brush that I use for the setting powder. Okay, I'm gonna add the stitching to her neck and chest, and then we'll move on to the dress. Okay, so first is the one on her neck. Let's set right about here. So we're gonna go straight across and curved. I'm gonna go up on the ends right here, just so it really looks a little bit more dimensional. It's not just like super straight across, it's curved, and then kind of taking in these little corners so it really looks like it's like separated and being held by stitches. Okay, so these are more black than they are white, so we're gonna go with black. I think these are just like straight up and down, but we're gonna kind of curve them. Now adding those little holes. I'm gonna take a little bit of the white paint now, and then we're just gonna kind of go over them just to give them a little bit of dimension. Okay, now we're gonna do that with the rest of the stitches on her chest. She has one that goes straight down. I'll start that one right about here. And this one that goes kind of like towards her shoulders through that middle one. Now we're gonna do what we did with these stitches on here, so the black, the little holes, and then the white through them. Okay, so we have 2 here. Well, before I continue, I need to add shading to the lines, which I forgot to do, so I'm gonna do that. Taking some of that Spellbound, and I'm just gonna go right over these lines because I'll redarken them if I need to. And I'm just gonna try to get in between these stitches. There we go. Okay, so now back to these stitches. Okay, and then we have like a cross here. Ideally, if you're doing this, to go out, you'll have the dress, so you won't have to paint on the dress. But the neck is a good addition if you are gonna use the dress. Okay, and I'm gonna start adding all the little holes and the white and the details. Okay, so now we're gonna start on the dress, and it looks like on the side that she has like the face, these face stitches, we're gonna do yellow. This side is the like mauvey purple with the swirls. This sleeve is going to be like a teal turquoise color, and this side's also going to be yellow. So I'm going to use this yellow in the Mehron palette, a little bit of a darker yellow, and I might add like a little bit of like gray, just like a tiny bit to kind of give it more muted color, maybe a little bit of brown, I think. Yeah, instead of gray, I'll add a little bit of brown, and I'll use this brown down here, just like a lighter brown. I'm just going right along that black. Just taking a sponge with that same paint on, blend it out. Alright, and with the black paint, I'm gonna kind of draw the sleeve. And it's not gonna be perfect because it's gonna be like, it's like a jaggedy sleeve. So we'll do it like right around right here, kind of sharp edges. Connected in the back, like that. Oh, I don't know why I did it all the way back there, right here. There we go. Just looking at the front, not worrying about back there. Take the black paint, just start to color half my arm basically. There we go. Now I'm gonna take that yellow down into those jagged parts. Okay, and then I'll worry about like my arms later. We're gonna add a little bit of black shading to the edges of the dress on her skin, so it looks a little bit more 3D, like that. That's good. Okay, I forgot that this sleeve is not yellow. I literally laid it out and then totally forgot about it. So we're gonna do the stitches here, and then the sleeve, I'll just paint over it with that like teal color. Okay, and no big deal. I'll do a line down the sleeve. Don't want it to be too thick. And then there's actually the perfect color, I think, in this palette. So it's gonna be this one here, and we're gonna mute it with a little bit of gray so it's not so vibrant, and it should be fine just going right over this yellow. Okay, crisis averted, and actually I think it worked out even better. I feel like this color is actually more accurate than the teal would have been alone. All right, now we're gonna do the other side. Okay, so for this side, I'm gonna draw a sleeve so I don't forget this time. We'll do another line down. I think I need to remove some of this black on this side just because I feel like that's gonna be a really like small arm. Yeah, she does have small arms, but I just kind of want to even it out with this one. Alright, and I'm gonna color this side in first before I do the little jaggedy like I did on this side. I feel like it might be easier. For this side, I'm going to take this like purpley color here. Might add a little bit of white to this to lighten it up so it's not so dark. I think that will be good. If I said sleeve, I meant this side of the dress, the chest area. I think that's like a perfect color. And I'm gonna go in with that same yellow that I used for this side, adding a little bit of that lighter brown. I'm getting a bit tired, and I'm kind of regretting not just buying the dress for this look. I was at Spirit getting some like accessories for like a lot of the 31 days that I thought about getting the dress for this look, but I was like, no, I can body paint. It's fine. It's a lot of work body painting, and I'm trying to get more comfortable doing it, so I guess this is the start. Kind of see where this one stops here, and then we'll do those jaggedy lines on this side and draw the orange line for down to fine sleeve. Going back in with the yellows to clean up. Okay, I think they're about even. Now it's time for the details. I think this side is pretty like plain. I just need to add the stitching. This side we're gonna do like some swirls and then some stripes on this sleeve. So I'm gonna start with the stripes just because they're the easiest. Get them out of the way. And they're like double black lines. So I'm actually gonna use a smaller brush. A very skinny liner brush. And let's see here. Getting that one started off kind of thick. Let's see if we can taper it out. Trying to go all the way down. There's one. The second one pretty close next to it. Luckily they're not meant to be perfect, which works out for me because things are not coming out very nicely. Okay, yeah, just pretend that's better. I'm gonna use a different brush. I don't think that was the right brush. Okay, and space it out a little bit more. Okay, see, this brush is way better. All right, as long as you can get the idea, and from far, I think you can. It should be fine. I'm tired, and the body makeup is not the main point of this look, I would say. I think that's okay. And now we're gonna do the little swirlies on the like purple part. Okay, I just went ahead and finished the swirls, a little triangle. I didn't do it exactly like it is, I just kind of went for it. So I'm gonna add the shading in the inner part of the dress on this side like I did here with some of that Nevermore black eyeshadow. And because these are like layers sewn together, I'm gonna take some of that shading right here as well. So it kind of looks like the yellow is slightly overlapping that like teal turquoise shade. And we'll do that on the other side as well. Okay, I'm almost done. I think I'm just gonna do my arms like off camera. I'm basically just going to do the same color as I've been doing my neck and my chest and my face. Just pretty much on my hands. I'm not gonna do it like perfectly, just so you can kind of see it all together. But let's go ahead and add lashes first. Okay, so for the lashes, I'm gonna use these really big ones that I got from Eldora, or the B802 lashes first. I'm gonna curl my lashes and add mascara. Only adding mascara to the top lashes. And as I'm waiting for the glue to get tacky, I'm just gonna retouch up that white, this lower lash area, my waterline. I noticed I needed a little touch up here. I've been wearing this makeup for a few hours now. Actually quite a few hours, so it needs a little touch up, which is fine. Basically just placing on top of where I had that liner, like the perfect lashes. I'm so excited I got these. They are a UK company, I believe, so the shipping did take a while, and shipping was kind of expensive if you don't want to. Well, shipping was like $12, and these lashes were $12, so I paid $24 for these lashes. Honestly, I think they're worth it, especially if you take care of them, keep them clean. I mean, there are regular lashes that are not like specially big like this that are the same price or more. So I think they're a good investment, especially if you do fun looks that would just be a little bit more elevated with these lashes. I don't know if there's any company in the US that makes lashes like these. I don't know. I kind of tried to look around, but I wasn't really finding anything. And I found these on TikTok, and they have some really cool options actually. And they're very comfortable on. I didn't need to trim these at all or anything. They're a very good size, I think, that would fit probably most people. And honestly, they're more comfortable than some of the regular lashes that I have. Okay, and I want to add some lower lashes. So I have this little set here that I got from Amazon. Okay, while I wait for that glue to get tacky, I'm gonna go over that black line underneath my eye. You can't really see because of that stitch, but it's okay. We're gonna add more. So I roughly the same size. Okay, so I'm pretty much done. I still gotta add contacts, of course, my wig, and I'm gonna do my arms just the same color as I do my face, did my face and my neck and chest. I'm not gonna add stitches to my arms. I mean, I could, but I'm tired, and I don't think it's that important for this look. I did the whole dress and everything, so we're just gonna skip the stitches on the hands and arms. All right. I'm gonna go finish up and I will be right back. Alright, and this is the finished look. What do you guys think? I'm actually pretty proud of how this turned out. This is like my first time really like body painting something other than just like my neck, which I've done before. I did fix this sleeve because it was a little short compared to this one. Now I feel like they're a little bit more even. Also, I did add a little bit more blue eyeshadow just right in this upper part right here, just to have her look a little bit more like concerned and worried. She does have a lot of personal problems going on, so I had to give her that kind of, look. It was so hard to style this wig, so I wanted to still be able to see the stitches, so I kind of, have it tucked a little bit. I went with the white iris contacts. I did have like a silver one, and I think I want to try them just to try them, but I think I'm going to stick with these for now and just kind of see how the silver ones look. Maybe I'll like them more. Let me know what you guys think. Another day of 31 days of Halloween complete. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow.